Ladies and gentlemen, our 2021 Commencement Convocation Orator, the Honorable Bakari Sellers.
Thank you, brother. Good afternoon to the Clark Atlanta University. President French, members of the faculty, Board of Trustees, distinguished guests, family, and graduates. I must say that since being invited to speak at today's commencement, I have received two pieces of advice regarding my remarks. The first is that delivering a commencement address is like being the body at a wake. They stick you in the middle of the room, but deep down, they really don't want to hear a lot out of you. And the second was a reminder to always adhere to the 5 B's. Be brief, brother, be brief. So with that in mind, let's get started. It is a great honor to be here with you today and not only share in this celebration, but to offer my congratulations to the class of 2021. To the families and friends who join us today, congratulations, because today's celebration is as much for you as it is for the graduates. Now, I have to be honest, the truth is that had it been up to me, I wouldn't have attended my own graduation. However, my mother made it clear that it was not up to me, saying that she would be attending the ceremony with or without me, though she strongly advised the former, as the latter would have serious consequences. To the graduates, let me congratulate you on this achievement, realizing a success that has been years in the making. Understand that this is a rare and special moment, so I want you to enjoy it. I want you to cherish this feeling of accomplishment and confidence, because you know this slips away when you're not looking, and it's almost impossible to get back once it's gone. And understand our expectations for you, for all of you, are high, but that is the price of success. And don't look at me, you did it to yourselves. You didn't think it was going to get easier after this, did you? I mean, they brought me in to break it to you. It turns out that you did all of this work for all of these years, and your great reward after you leave this stage is to work harder. So congratulations. But let me tell you this secret that most of us know. It's that hard work is worth it. Because even when you get knocked down, and trust me, you will. Even when you get exhausted, and trust me, I am, particularly of them killing us so much, but that's another speech. And when it feels like you can't get anything right and you wonder, what am I doing this for? Is it worth it? You're going to ask yourself that question. It's like the old story I've always loved about Smoking Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier was born a sharecropper in rural Beaufort County, South Carolina. And he went on to become heavyweight champion of the world and one of the few men to defeat the greatest boxer of all time, Muhammad Ali. You see, before Frazier was a heavyweight champion of the world, he was just another amateur with potential. He was aggressive and strong with the uncanny ability to take a punch and keep going. He won 3 Golden Glove heavyweight championships in his 3 years as an amateur. In fact, he won all of his amateur fights except for one. It was a split decision loss to a young man named Buster Mathis. And so when he had the opportunity to avenge that loss by squaring off against Mathis in the 1964 Olympic trials final, he was more than just a little bit excited. Unfortunately, as we know, sometimes the excitement, it gets the better of our training. And during the match, he fell back into his old habit of leading with his head. And as you can imagine, Mathis took full advantage of this and landed a never-ending string of punches directly to Frazier's head. And Mathis easily won the match and secured a spot in the Tokyo Olympics. Now, as many of you all may imagine, Joe was just a little bit more disappointed. Not only did he lose his chance to fight on the biggest stage in the world, but he lost to his rival. He was not taking it well, as he said in his hospital bed, recovering from the fight, and he considered giving up on boxing for good. And when his trainer walked in whistling and grinning ear to ear, it irritated Frazier to no end. He called him just about anything but a child of God. And he said, "What do you have to be so happy for anyway?" The trainer took the abuse in stride and just kept smiling as he explained that he was thinking about all the great things he was going to do in Tokyo and all the fun he was going to have. And Joe said, maybe you saw a different fight last night, but we ain't going to Tokyo. Buster is. And the trainer looked at him and said, shows what you know. Despite his loss, Frazier would be fighting in Tokyo instead of Mathis because Mathis was medically disqualified. The trainer said he hit you so many times in the head last night that he broke his hand, and now he can't fight. And Frazier went on to win gold in Tokyo. And I tell you that story in particular for two reasons. One, because I can't think of a better way to describe the college experience than enduring a relentless series of blows to the head that leave you beaten, bewildered, but in a position to make history. And two, and most importantly, it demonstrates what is possible when a prepared mind and body finds opportunity and you absolutely refuse to quit. When you are resilient, when you are determined, and when you are phenomenal, absolutely anything is possible. Of course, that intersection of training and timing is exceedingly rare in this life. That sort of resilience and determination is rare. It is phenomenal, but class of 2021, so are you. Of course, you and I know that your intelligence, your preparation, and your determination are not enough. At least they're not enough until you put them into action. You see, that's why for generations now, commencement speakers like me have been telling graduates like you that they should commit themselves to something greater than yourselves. That with great power comes great responsibility. Now, I'm not Uncle Ben and y'all ain't Spider-Man. And you don't owe me anything. So if you want to take this training and opportunity and turn it wholly into profit, to make the millions you've been dreaming of, the big house and the nice car, I can't stop you. I wouldn't even if I could. You deserve that, and you deserve more. But here is the thing. Right now, nearly 1/3 of black students live in poverty. Nearly 75% of black students have parents with little to no college education, and 10% don't have a high school diploma or GED. 45% of black students attend high poverty high schools. 90% have no access to internet at home. Dropout rates, poverty rates, infant mortality, incarceration, every one of these is higher for black and brown students than white. And COVID infection rates in the black community are roughly 260% higher than in white communities. If you're black, you're nearly 5 times more likely to be hospitalized, and you're more than twice as likely to die. People of color are about 30% of our nation's total population, but 60% of our prison population. And what's the leading cause of death for black men between the ages of 20 and 44? Homicide. So the question is, if you don't do something about it, who will? And I've been blessed beyond measure to have some semblance of success in my life. I get an opportunity to practice civil rights law standing with the victimized when no one else can or no one else will. I've been able to bring my perspective to the news of the day, and I've had the honor to represent the people I grew up with, the people I love in the halls of government. But I'm still a kid who grew up in Denmark, South Carolina, where there's 3 stoplights and a blinking light, where the median annual income is less than half the national average, where the jobs are hard to come by and the ones you get don't pay enough to live on. I have a privilege, though. I have a responsibility. And ladies and gentlemen, so do you. It's like Joshua said when he assembled all the tribes of Israel in Shechem. He talked about Abraham, Nahor, Jacob, and Esau. He talked about Moses and Aaron, the bondage in Egypt, the exodus into the wilderness, and all the battles they won. He went through the whole story, the good and the bad, the struggles they had faced, and the miracles they had witnessed, all of it, and he reminded them of God's purpose. He said, I gave you a land on which you did not toil, and cities you did not build, yet you live in them and eat from vineyards and olive groves you did not plant. Clark Atlanta University, we were given a land which we did not toil, in cities we did not build, yet we live in them and eat from vineyards and olive groves we did not plant. The men and women who came before us built those cities and planted those vineyards because they refused to leave us behind hungry and unloved. See, now it's up to us, it's up to you. It's up to you to continue this path of being resilient, determined, and phenomenal, and it's up to us to be the change we've been praying for. And understand you're not alone in this battle. I remember pulling this article. It was a New York Times from after the Greensboro Four sat down at a Woolworth's lunch counter and started a sit-in movement that would spread across the country like wildfire. That article said the demonstrations were generally dismissed at first as another college fad. This opinion, though, lost favor, however, as the movement spread from North Carolina to Virginia, Florida, South Carolina, and Tennessee, and involved 15 cities. Some whites wrote off the episodes as the work of outside agitators, but even they conceded that the seeds of dissent had fallen into fertile soil. The seeds of dissent had fallen into fertile soil. See, y'all are sitting right now on fertile soil. This is the intersection of training and timing. This is the fertile soil, and you, my friends, are the seeds of dissent. And most importantly, what these folk don't know is y'all about to give them hell. But we also know something else, though. We also know that life ain't fair. The last 4 years have taught us that. But President French, that's another speech, too. But the fact that life isn't fair in and of itself should not be cause for hopelessness and cynicism, especially not today. Because you are proof of a different fact, that while life isn't fair, it ain't fixed either. You are living, breathing examples that the age of miracles has not passed, that this is still the land of opportunity, even if you have to work longer and harder to find it. You are the seeds of dissent fallen upon this fertile soil at this intersection of training and timing. And when you walk across the stage, you will possess the single greatest catalyst for success and change that there ever was, an educated mind. And now is your chance to use it. You stand today on the shoulders of all of those who've come before. With the knowledge and opportunity at your fingertips today, you can fulfill their promise and you can realize a more perfect union. And if you can't believe it in yourself, then believe it in me. Because the first time my sister saw her father was through the state prison glass, convicted and serving time for a riot that never happened. Because that's what happened in 1968 to agitators and radicals in South Carolina, that or worse. But look at where I'm standing now in just one generation. The agitator's son became a legislator, then nominee for lieutenant governor, and now an analyst and contributor for the largest news organization in America. In one generation, miracles are possible. And so life isn't fair, but it ain't fixed either. So when you leave this place, do not be afraid. Don't be afraid to dare greatly and fail. Don't be afraid to aim high and fall short. Don't be afraid to be the miracles that you already are. Don't be afraid to pioneer new technologies, to revolutionize education or business or agriculture or healthcare. Don't be afraid to imagine developing new, more resilient infrastructure. Don't be afraid to lead a new generation of young people that understand that you ain't got to be no celebrity to be a hero. Don't be afraid to be that ripple or change that crosses the sea and comes back again. And as you leave here today, go with that knowledge and that tradition that dares you to be more than you've ever dared imagine. And stand with audacious hope. This is our call to urgent action. Right here, right now. Stand proud, and we will stand with you. Live for all of those names who can't be here today. Thank you. Congratulations. Now go give them hell.